Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
You can just say after me, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Why we chant this? Because Gita and spirituality is not maths, physics, chemistry, bio. Not just that. To understand this message, you need blessings and help. It's not just an intellectual endeavor. You need intelligence, but this goes beyond intelligence. So that's why I was chanting this. This is called invocation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, well, okay, fine. So, we are discussing about this book, Gita. And why we are discussing about this book, that's another question. And the question is, there are many questions in life, no? Actually, every second we have to solve a question. Okay, you had a question before coming to this program, should I go, should I not go? It's a question. Or maybe you have a question now, should I sit or should I not sit? But you can't help it out, you have to sit. So, life is a question. An entire life, we are finding answers to such questions, trying to figure out the way. And what generally happens is, these answers bring more questions in life. And we end up, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 16 chapter, Pralayantam upashritaha. Krishna says, till eternity. That means a life. From birth to death. We are simply entangled in questions and answers, questions and answers, questions and answers. But we never question which questions are relevant, which questions are irrelevant. That's the question. And it's not just Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says that many philosophers in the West, at least independently, without reading scriptures, they came to this question, what is the most important question in life which I should be first solving? Rest second. What is priority? And it was Ludwig Wittgenstein, if you know about him. He was a big philosopher. And he said there are just 3 questions worth answering. And you have to have answer for those questions before you die. And those are, who am I? Who am I? Who is God, if there is God? And how do I establish a connection with that supreme reality or with that God? So these are just the questions which you have to solve. And then there are many other questions which everybody asks himself. What is life? What is purpose of my life? At least some point of time you will be asking. You can avoid those questions and be happy, but they are there. So if a lion comes and if you close your eyes, it's not there. What is death? One day you have to answer this question. Maybe for yourself or maybe for others. But you will face all these things. So, what are these questions? And philosophers have been pondering over these questions. And Bhagavad Gita, Krishna raises these very questions in 18 chapters, 700 verses, and gives us the answer for these questions. So as I was telling yesterday that if you go to science doesn't have answer to these questions. And it cannot have answers because science can help us understand physical matter, laws, but it cannot help you to understand aesthetics. What about aesthetics? Aesthetics, you know aesthetics, everybody. Love, emotions, feelings. How to do that? Emotions are not quantifiable, no? Science is to do with quantifiable things and perhaps objective things. But these are very subjective. Experience That's a big question mark in science. Consciousness, no? Consciousness, subject of consciousness is slowly entering the realm of science, although they were avoiding it for past 300 years. Nobody wanted to talk about consciousness. There was a philosopher who also said, the dirty word starting with C. Consciousness. He said, this dirty word starting with C has always puzzled us. So give this to philosophers. Or maybe religion. We don't consider. But now they're forced. They are face to face with consciousness. And how? Quantum mechanics. You're aware of quantum mechanics? At least you've heard about this. So there's an aspect of consciousness in quantum mechanics which nobody can deny. In fact, there are many books written, many word theories. People are talking, physicists are talking that there are parallel universes. You can imagine, before 100 years, if you talk about parallel universe, people will say it's mythology. Stories, what are you talking about? Parallel universe? What's this? This is complete nonsense. But now they're talking about these things. They're talking about weird things which is contrary to our logic. They're talking about transmission of messages more than speed of light. Instantaneous transmission of messages. Which is in fact telepathy. Telepathy. All this. So these things are coming back in science. They're trying to solve these questions. But there's no answer because you don't know how to do that. Which law of physics and maths can help you understand love? Love is all we need to see. That's written there. It's written there, love. So which physics? Which Einstein, Galileo, Newton, or maybe if you go to biology, if you go to neurologist, okay, fine. Then let's talk about them. Okay, fine, neurologist. You can do brain scans. You can find an area when you become happy, when you have euphoria or whatever. There's a lightening of that area and whatever. But the point is, you can see that the patient is experiencing something. But here are two questions which nobody knows. This is a hard problem. He's experiencing something, but you cannot experience the same experience. He cannot show you that experience. No, it is reserved for him, only for him. And the second point, which nobody will answer, how can this box, which has some flesh and blood, this brain, how can it produce experience? This dead matter, no? Neurons, electrons, quantum, that's it. How can that thing produce an experience which is related to life? Nobody has answered to. This is called hard problem. David Chalmers, he's a philosopher. I wanted to meet him in San Diego, but he's shifted to New York. And this is a major problem, which has been there with us since time of Descartes, now and forever. Macaulay Gins, he was a philosopher, and he said, this problem cannot be solved by science. It's end of science, it is said, end of science here. Science has to stop, and science has to recognize one fact, that everything cannot be solved by science. You have to admit, it is arrogance to say that science can understand everything. That's not a correct philosophy, no? It's not a correct philosophy. So, aesthetics. You don't go to scientists to ask what is love. Probably you go to psychologists, no? Okay, I'm having relationship problems. A psychologist. And psychologist is more of philosophy than traditional academic science. And what about ethics? You know ethics, morality. You go to science to ask what is morality? Of course not. You can ask. You can go to Apple and tell which iPhone you are releasing now, i9, i7, i8, i10. But they will not tell you what to do with this. Do whatever you want. You can see bad things, you can see good things. That's up to you. That's not up to us. We can give you technology, but what you do with that, how do you decide? So ethics, science cannot tell. And this consciousness. And these questions, what is death? What happens after death? Who knows? And what is life? What is purpose of my life? These answers are there in Bhagavad Gita. You have to come to Bhagavad Gita to get answers to these questions. These answers are not in realm of science. You can't ask evidence for them. There's no evidence. Okay, let me ask you a question. People say, prove the existence of God. No? They say. I'll come to this point afterwards, but just to make you awake and focused. Okay, prove the existence of God. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, this Krishna saying in 2nd chapter, can you prove your existence? Can anybody can you prove your existence? Okay, what's your answer? What's your answer? Can you prove you exist?
Yeah. Date of birth certificate.
No.
No.
Because you know Deep Blue? Deep Blue is a chess software, and 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗃𝗪 was defeated. And they celebrate the birthday of Deep Blue. He has a date of birth certificate when he was made and when he was put in function. So probably you are a computer. Who knows? Can you prove you exist?
I'm here.
Well, you might be a zombie. How do I know? How do I know? You might be a artificial, 4th generation artificial intelligence, which movies are the Terminator, Genesis, the people are talking. How do I know that you exist?
By my consciousness.
But I can't see your consciousness.
But I feel it.
You feel, but I don't feel.
But isn't that what connects you to a higher power?
No. You have to prove to me, not to yourself.
You can see me.
But so what? I can see a robot. Walking, talking, and doing everything what you can do. I can simulate all the expressions and he can do everything. There's no way you can prove that you exist. There's no way you can prove you exist in this body. The only way I can get an evidence, I'm talking evidence, for your existence is I have to enter your body and experience what you're experiencing. And then only I can be confirmed that you exist. Otherwise, there's no way. You understand? And that there's a philosophy called as Solipsism I was talking. So some philosophers, they come to this conclusion, nobody exists. Because we believe in science. Science needs evidence. So I don't have evidence that you all exist. So they thought, well, this means there's a doubt whether people exist or not. I'm not sure. So who exists? Only I exist. That's an evidence, no? I know from myself. And that's why they say that that's a solipsist. Only I am there. Nobody else is there. And the person who found this philosophy, he finally came to this conclusion. He finally questioned himself, is there any evidence that this word exists? You can't even tell that. Whether this exists, you can touch it. But you know matrix? Everybody knows matrix. Maybe this is a computer simulation. In fact, science, latest science, I'll tell you, there's a philosopher, James Gleick, physicist. There's a latest scientific paper which is in fact suggesting that we live in computer simulation. They are coming to this conclusion by string theory. I'm not going to science, but there is a paper published in Scientific Journal that maybe this is all coded. Somebody has coded this. So, point is, if you cannot prove your existence, such a simple thing, how can you prove existence of God? You can't do that. It's very difficult. So, this Krishna discusses in Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter. By the way, a new information for you all, that Bhagavad Gita is not just do your work and offer results. We have heard this, no? Do your work, don't worry about results. And that is Bhagavad Gita, no? 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗃𝗪 This is Bhagavad Gita, but this is just one of the principles of Bhagavad Gita, which is in fact not that important also in the higher levels of reality. There is just a basic principle by which you can function in society. That's it. It has nothing to do with spirituality. And it's there in Gita. So, these are good questions, no? Who am I? Who is God? How do I establish connection with God? What is the purpose of my life? This is answered by Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita, before I tell how Bhagavad Gita answers these questions, let me tell you that Bhagavad Gita is praised all over, throughout, not just by saints, by philosophers, by scientists, by politicians. And I'll read for you here. I have this from Mahatma Gandhi. He praised Bhagavad Gita. He said, when disappointments stare me in the face, I see not one ray of hope on the horizon, and I turn to Bhagavad Gita. So whenever you are facing problems and disappointments, who will help you? Your relatives? They'll make you more disappointed. Perhaps. Who knows? No man can help you. Only God can help you. His instructions, His guidance, if you're prepared already. So Mahatma Gandhi, and who else? Aldous Huxley, he was a writer and human pacifist. You know Huxley, he's this famous person. He said Bhagavad Gita is the most systematic statement of spiritual evolution. He's not an Indian. He's not biased. He's not sadhu, sant, baba nonsense. He is Huxley. And you go on Google and see who is he. He's a genius person. He's a rational man. And he said, is the most systematic statement of spiritual evolution. It is systematic. Systematic means science. Science likes to put everything system. And Henry David Thoreau, he was a poet, philosopher, writer, famous. And he said, in morning I bathe my intellect in the stupendous philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Beautiful. Now these people are reading Bhagavad Gita. They want to understand, and because they're intelligent. Wilhelm von Humboldt, he was a Prussian philosopher. He said, Bhagavad Gita is the most beautiful, perhaps the only true philosophical song existing in any known tongue. Perhaps the deepest thing word has to show. It's beautiful. Schopenhauer, German philosopher, 1786 to 1826. He said Bhagavad Gita is the greatest Indian metaphysics man has ever known. The highest fruit of human wisdom. Albert Schweitzer, he was a physician, doctors, so politicians, writers, doctors. He said Bhagavad Gita has a profound influence on spirit of mankind by its devotion to God, which is manifested by action. And then Hermann Hesse, he said Bhagavad Gita is life's wisdom. Now this is important. Bhagavad Gita is manual of life. If you don't have Bhagavad Gita, you cannot steer your life. It's impossible. You can steer your television, camera by manual. No? Every machine has a manual, no? If you don't have a manual, you don't know what to do with that. So where is manual for life? Well, any child is born with a manual in cesarean. You take out child, here, my manual. Doesn't happen like that. No manual. And nobody taught us how to lead life. You might say, oh, what's there in teaching that? I'm leading my life, I'm happy. But happiness is not everything, first of all. And second thing is, maybe your happiness is a shadow and not substance. Maybe you think you're happy. Maybe you can be more happy. Maybe you don't know what is the heights of happiness. You're here and just having some kind of sensual excitement, not happiness. There's a difference between them. Is there a difference? Mm-hmm. Sensual excitement and happiness is difference. And Krishna talks about this in Bhagavad Gita in 4th chapter. Nayam sukho kuta shanti kuta sukham, he says. We were talking about that. So if I ask anybody, are you happy? If I ask you, you are happy? Okay. You're happy, no? You're laughing, so you're happy. The next question is, are you peaceful? Yes or not? You have anxieties, no? All of you? Every day you have some anxiety. So you don't have peace, but you're happy. So Krishna says, What sense do we make of happiness without peace? You can't say, I have anxieties but still I am happy. Then that is not true happiness. That is simply superficial sensual excitement. True happiness comes from peace of mind, no? And peace of mind comes from what? Anybody tell me what? Yeah, spirituality. But in modern Western terms, spirituality is a very abstract word, no? Because people think spirituality means close your eyes and feel something. People will say like that, no? But that's not spirituality. So, okay, this word is there, but what do you mean by this word? What is the underlying?
Contentment.
Contentment can bring peace, yes, good. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Santushta hi manah Krishna. The mind which is devoid of material desires, only that mind can have peace within. There is no other way. The more material desires you have, the more anxieties you will have. No? I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that. It's never ending. Never ending. You can keep on having things. How much you will have? And how much you lose in the process of having. And the process of having will create anxieties, but process of losing will break you. That might break you off. So what to do with this? What to do with this problem? Krishna says, leave material anxiety, leave material desires. Leave them, content. Then your mind is peaceful, then you're happy. So that's why he says, it is life's wisdom. Bhagavad Gita is life's manual. It is teaching us, training us how to free a mind of material desires. It is not easy to free mind of material desires. It is very difficult. You need to train your mind. You need to train your life. And that is what is religion all about. Religion in modern terms is Hinduism, Christianism, whatever. But that's not religion. That is ism. Religion according to Krishna, dharma, that's the word dharma, dharma. So dharma is dharma sonishtita pumsam vishvaksenu kathasuya. Dharma means duty or training. Training in such a way so that your mind becomes free of desires, material desires. So if I ask you, so what do you like? Suppose you like pizza. Okay, what she likes? She likes pizza? Okay.
I like pizza.
Okay, good. So, if I bring a pizza here in front of you, the best pizza of the world, you will want to eat it, no? Yes. And if I stop you?
I still want to eat it.
And if I still stop you, you might slap me and get lost from my house. I want to eat it. You can do that if you are like super mad after pizza, no? This is pizza, but okay, let's talk about girls and boys. Or if a girl becomes mad about a boy, even parents cannot stop her. It's impossible. It's out of control. You can't do anything. If a boy starts loving a girl, out of control. So now, whenever he says stop, they're not going to listen. Their mind this is called desire. It's right there inside you. You'll not be able to get it out, not be able to help yourself, nothing. And then, who is leading you? You or your desires? Your desires. You're not leading yourself. And that's the problem. When you're not leading yourself, you're not in control of yourself. And when desires are leading your life, you'll end up spoiling your life. That's all. That's all. Desires blind. They blind you. You're going where they're leading. And they can lead you anywhere. You'll spoil your life. So, point is how to stop these desires. It is difficult. I've just given a big example, but we are attached to so many things. We have so many desires. And the greatest desire of all desires is, what's the greatest desire of all desires? What is that? Which no man without the help of God can surpass. You can't get over that desire. No. Materialistic desire. Materialistic desire. Yeah. No, a materialistic desire?
Power.
No, there is one desire which is blocking you, which is between God and you. That's the desire. If you get rid of it,
Wanting to be accepted.
okay, little abstract, but that's okay. Krishna says the desire that's called lust, 𝗙𝗂𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀. The desire for this body, survival. That nobody can get over, no? That's the desire, survival. Everybody wants to survive. But when you start understanding God, start loving Him, you're no longer interested in your survival. That vanishes. And then you are no longer interested in yourself, you are interested in entire world. That is why it is said in Vedas, 𝗙𝗲𝗍 𝗪𝗂𝗍 𝗪𝗛𝑡ū. You have heard this? 𝗙𝗲 santu. They are not praying for themselves, for others. You are out of yourself. And that desire leads to selfishness. Me, mine. That's very difficult to overcome. So, that's why Bhagavad Gita is that manual. This is a manual you have to follow, Bhagavad Gita, to train your mind, intelligence and actions. 3 things. Mind, intelligence you take together. Body, mind and soul. And that is Bhagavad Gita all about. I'll just tell you how. This is the division of Bhagavad Gita. First 6 chapters, second 6 chapters and last 6 chapters. Body, soul and mind. And Krishna is giving rules and principles how to train them. So Bhagavad Gita is not just some puja. That's not. You just don't do 5 minutes puja and then it's over. That doesn't make any sense actually. It is a lifelong practice. It is a lifelong practice which you actually add on in your normal daily life. So that's harmonies. And in fact, 𝗪𝗪𝗪, Vedas are praising Gita. You have heard about Vedas, no? 𝗪𝗪𝗪 says, the fool who wants to attain liberation without hearing the wisdom of Gita is fit to be laughed at even by a child. That's 𝗪𝗪𝗪. So point is, this book if you have not read, you don't have manual for your life. You don't know what to think, when to think, why to think, what to do, when to do, why to do. You don't absolutely, you are on the chariot of your mind with no 𝗙𝗲𝗪. There is no 𝗙𝗲𝗪 for you. There is no charioteer. And it's bound to end up in accident, that's all. So what is this book all about? As I told you, it's life's manual. And this book has 18 chapters. And how many verses? 700. 700 verses. And this book answers you 3 questions. Who am I? Who is God? And how do I make connection with Him? That's pretty much. So who am I? Second chapter, Krishna begins with this. First chapter is preamble, setting the scene. Okay, Duryodhana is standing and you have read. First chapter is just who is there in the battlefield and everything. And Arjuna becomes really sad, what to do. And then Krishna starts speaking. So second chapter is contents of Gita summarized. Second chapter talks about this question, who am I? Now this is important question. You might think, well, why it is important for me? Who am I? My life is going, I have money, I am settled, everybody knows me, and I am young, I am powerful, I am beautiful. So why to understand who am I? What Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna tells, okay, let me ask you, if you have amnesia, you know amnesia? Okay. You forget everything now. Now, you forget everything. What's going to happen? Will you be happy? You forget your name, you forget. You'll be in super anxiety, no? Everything is same. Same situation, same iPhone, same car, same husband. Husband can change in America, but let's assume it's the same husband. But everything is same, but still something has changed, like you're in super anxiety because you don't know who are you. So, and if you don't find an answer in 10 minutes, you can even commit suicide. Who am I? What's my name? What I'm doing here? No, you can become mad. You have to put you in asylum. People become mad in amnesia. After they have problems, psychiatric problems. So, similarly, Krishna says, Ashochen and Vashoshasam. That's the first verse of Gita, 2nd chapter, 11th verse. From 2nd chapter, 11th verse, Krishna starts speaking his Gita, his instructions. Before that, Sanjay is speaking. Okay, so that's not Gita start. Gita doesn't start from 𝗪𝗪 Kurukshetra. That is spoken by Sanjay. Krishna speaks first words. Ashochen and Vashoshasam pragyavadamsha bhashase kata sunagato sumsha nanu shoshandi pandita. Krishna says, Arjun, you are thinking you are wise person. According to me, you are number one fool. And Arjun, in fact, was very qualified. He knew Vedas. He was perfect archer, skilled, self-controlled. 𝗪𝗲𝗶𝗶 came to him, he denied. You know about that, no? 𝗪𝗲𝗶. She proposed to Arjuna, but he said, no, you're like my mother. 𝗪𝗲𝗶, she's the most beautiful damsel, and nobody can deny her. So that kind of person, Krishna says, you're a fool, number one fool. Because you know everything, but you don't know who are you. So if you forget yourself, you're in anxiety. That's why Krishna says, everybody is in anxiety because they don't know who are they. So you all don't know who are you. Nobody knows who are you. Nobody knows their identity. And we're all facing identity crisis. And there's a method to know who am I. Am I this body or something else from this body? And Krishna will talk about that now. But that is the answer to your question. People say, I am having stress, I am having anxieties, I am not happy. No, many people say like that. And you also feel how to get pure happiness without any mixture of unhappiness. In this world, you get happiness, but it's mixed with sorrows. It's not pure. Or maybe you get happiness, background anxieties are there. Because you don't know who are you. And until unless you don't solve this question, everything is worthless. No matter what you do. No matter what you do. That's why Krishna told Arjuna, you can win the fight. You can lose the fight. It doesn't matter until unless you solve this first question. Who are you? Because even if you win the fight and if you don't know who are you, what's the point of that? You're mad. You're insane. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Nunam pramatta kurute karma. This is in Bhagavatam. Everybody in this world is insane, according to Gita. So, you see most of the people who talk about Gita and Bhagavatam, generally what they say you are all nice people, no? And you can be happy. But Krishna doesn't say like that. True message of Bhagavad Gita is Krishna starts with this, Nanu Shoshandi Pandita. Krishna says, you're a fool, you're insane, you're nonsense, you're wasting your life. That's what I've come to tell you all. Seriously. I've come to tell you this. Veda says, Uttishta jagrita prape varane bodhata. Get up, awake, arise, attain truth, perfection, reality, eternal happiness. Don't just keep on sleeping and wasting your life. You're simply passing time, that's all. You're adding nothing worth to your life. Money doesn't add to life. Money sucks. Money doesn't add. If you don't know, you'll come to know after some time. Maybe next life. But money sucks. Money can make friends enemies. No? Is it? Money can bring all bad qualities. Money can bring false ego. Money can bring false sense of security when you're not secure. So, money is necessary, but necessary evil. You can say like that. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, it's required to live. You can't live without money. I am not going to give you money to live. So, you have to get money, but you have to earn that much. Krishna says, so this is, I have told you, Gita is also telling you how to live in this society. So Krishna tells, 𝗏𝗪𝗔𝗪 prasaktanam. Earn that much money which helps you to advance in spiritual life. Don't just keep on earning money and make that the aim of your life. Then you are wasting time. So that's first verse of Gita. A reprimand, a scolding from Krishna to all of us through Arjuna. And then Krishna says, okay, who are you? And Krishna answers his question. Krishna says, okay, this is a question, let me answer. And Krishna says to Arjuna, Dehinosmi natha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. Now Krishna brings a very logical and scientific point here. Arjuna says, fine, Krishna, everybody says you're not this body, you're soul. But how do we understand it logically? Do we have to accept it blindly? Or in a mythology, superstitious way? No, Krishna says no. He gives a logic. 2nd chapter, 12th verse, he says, or 13th verse, he says that you see everything is changing, but one thing is not changing around you. Your body is changed, no? Your childhood body is different. Kaumaram, Yavanam, Jara. Probably if I give you your childhood photograph, you'll not be able to recognize yourself. This is me. Sometimes we see, and we might ask somebody, oh, this is me. And when you become old, everything will change. In fact, according to science now, modern science, after every 7 years, even brain cells will change. Previously, we didn't used to believe that neurons, they die and they regenerate. But now it's a different. Science says that, and every cell of your body after 7 years is different. In fact, every second our cells are changing. Now, 120 days 𝗪𝗏𝗪 is gone. Maybe 5-6 years your liver cells are out. It's a renewal, no? So your body is changed. After 7 years you're new. But one thing is same. What is that? Okay, but if I don't want to bring the word soul here, I want to bring a scientific word here. One thing is same. What is that?
Consciousness.
Okay. And if I want to bring a philosophical word?
You. Identity.
Identity. I. Sense of I doesn't change, no? You are you when you were a child. You are you now. You are you after that. Is it you feel like that, no? You don't feel, my God, what happened to me? I'm something else. You don't feel like that. Inside you feel, I am I. You have a self-identity, which is called that. And that is eternal. That is not changing. And that is consciousness in scientific words. And consciousness has to have a source. Sense of self-identity has to have some container. It has to be somewhere, no? But that cannot be in your brain, because brain is changing. Brain has changed after 7 years. So that has to be there in soul. Consciousness is symptom of soul. And you can say Atma or Ruh or whatever you want. There is a separate entity, soul, consciousness, which is not matter, which is not antimatter, which is separate from that. It doesn't change, it doesn't die. And Krishna says, Krishna says in Gita, what's that verse? It cannot be dried, it cannot be wet, it cannot be cut. I forgot that verse, yeah. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Nayam chindanti shastrani, Nayam dadati pavaka. You cannot cut that. You cannot cut consciousness, no? I can cut your hand, but your eye I cannot cut, no? I cannot dry, I cannot wet. How to dry and wet your self-identity? Nothing. It makes sense if you talk scientifically. And Krishna says that you have to realize. Your self-identity. Now, presently we think we are this body. You think like that, no? I'm this body. I'm this hand. But no, you're different from it. And it's very simple to understand. Krishna gives one more logic. 2nd chapter, 14th verse. He says, Vashamshi jirnani athavihaya navani grinani narvaprani. The 2nd chapter. And Krishna says, just like a person changes his dress, so soul changes body at the time of death. Simple. It's simple, but it's very deep if you try to understand that. Now, you see, you're in this body, but how much of this body you know? Tell me. You are in this, but how much of this body you know, you have knowledge? How much percentage? Not much. maybe 5%, that's all. 95% is unknown to us, even though we are living in this. We don't know what's happening inside us. Do you feel that you are a bag of organs? Anybody? No. If you start feeling, you'll become mad. My God, so many things in my stomach. I'm stuffed up. You don't feel like that, no? Nobody feels. And this is a question in philosophy. This is the problem of self. This is the problem of oneness. Why do we feel one? Why don't we feel many? We have many parts. We don't feel like that, no? So Krishna gives this logic in Bhagavad Gita. Vashamshi jirnani athavihaya. So although we wear dress, but we don't. We know my shirt and pant is different, but as far as body, we don't feel my leg is different, hand is different, liver is different. We feel one. And we feel that, so where do you exist? You feel that you are here somewhere, no? Is it? Everybody feels like that, no? Is there somebody feeling you are in leg? No, you don't feel like that. Probably we might forget a leg also after some. When we are working, who cares for our big toe? You don't care about that. Maybe if you have a wound, then we might look, what's there. But face, you feel you are here. You feel you are here. So Krishna says, why all these things? Why do you feel one in spite of so many things in your body? And that's, Krishna says, because you're separate from this body. Your soul, which is having no organs, no sections, no components. And that is why you feel one. Simple. And then Krishna gives one more logic, 2nd chapter. And he says, okay, he says, why do you want to live? Does anybody want to die? Nobody, no? Unless he's like super depressed or suicide case or whatever. And in that case also, he will want to die not... okay, fine, let me just put... Are you excited to die? Anybody is excited to die? No. Person becomes sad and he can commit suicide, but nobody is excited to die. Why? Why it's like that? Brains are chemicals, no? Chemicals cannot decide whether I should be excited to die or excited to live. That's no decision in matter. But yet, there is a decision. There is a decision. There is an arrow of survival instinct. We are excited to live, not excited to die. And that's not function of dead matter. Is it? Table cannot decide whether to die or not to die, no? Table cannot do that. So, and then Krishna raises one more question. Okay, everybody is excited to be happy, is it? You all want to be happy? Is there anybody who is excited to become sad? No, you don't see anybody. Even animals, you don't see anybody. Why? Why it's like that? Why don't want to become? Why we don't want to choose sadness over happiness? Why do we choose? Life over death? And why do we choose knowledge over ignorance? Does anybody want to remain fool? No, everybody wants. That's why careers, universities, colleges. So why it's like that? Because soul is, you might have heard, Sat Chit Anand. You have heard about that?
Yes.
Krishna says in Gita, Sat Chit Anand. This is characteristic of soul. It's eternal, full of happiness and full of knowledge. That is why we want to be eternal, we want to be happy, and we want to be knowledgeable. We are that. So this body is not that. Body is dead. So Krishna proves by these three logics, second chapter, your soul simple. It's very simple. You don't need science for that. You need common sense. Everything, don't ask. It is a disease of Western world. Evidence, evidence, evidence. What evidence? Everything is not evidence, no? You don't ask your girlfriend, is there any evidence you love me? You don't do that, no. Everything is not evidence. In fact, to say, okay, fine, if you say, I want evidence, then I can say, what is evidence? That evidence can prove everything. Is there any evidence for that? That's the assumption. That if you have evidence, that thing is true. Not necessarily. If you have evidence, that thing might be logical but not truth. There's a difference in that. Every logical statement might not be truth. Every true statement is logical, but every logical statement is not necessarily true. Evidence can provide you logic, but not necessarily truth. That has to pass test of time. So, who am I? Simple. We are soul. It's clear. We are separate from body. Consciousness, soul, Atma, whatever you call. And that should be your first job, to realize that. Otherwise, your life is waste. You'll die, you leave this body, and then you'll take another body. Simple. Just like if you ask me to get up from this chair, I'll get up and I'll sit somewhere else. So because your soul eternal, this body dies, you take another body. Simple. But question is, where you are going after death? Who decides? And how do you decide? And if you go in lower species, what do you do? If you become animals, then what do you do? Everything is gone. One moment, everything is over. You are worrying about future, savings, this, that. But death doesn't wait for anybody. It will not wait for you. It will not ask you, you have finished your work or not. It comes, get out of this body. That's all. Not even a second will be given to you. And then next body. That's all. So, it's a very risky, Krishna says, it's a very risky situation. We are there. So just like I was coming in, everybody travel in plane now. So you see, you know what? So when you travel to India and you're sitting in plane, it's so nice and everybody's seeing movie. Everybody sees movies, no? Is it? But if you think about it, you are at a big risk, no? You are in a plane in air in that tin box and it can crash anytime, it can fall. It's a very dangerous situation, but you are here enjoying movie. You've forgotten everything. You're in air. Even a small mistake, you're dead. This is your life. Your life, you're about to die. It's dangerous. You're about to have so many problems, old age, disease, and here you're enjoying. And no problems. This is called illusion, Maya, illusion, or in other words, madness. Simple madness. This is a mad person, that's all. Finish. So, do you understand? It's simple. So, if you read second chapter nicely, you will come to know. In fact, if you read this book, Bhagavad Gita as it is, why I'm telling this book, there are many editions of Bhagavad Gita, but this edition, Prabhupada has written commentary and he's given scientific explanation, what I'm explaining, so you can relate to that. General Bhagavad Gita editions, they don't explain scientifically, so it looks complex and funny. It's okay. But the point is, this is not full identity of soul. There is not full description. If I ask you, who are you? You say, I'm male, female. There's not good explanation, no? I have to tell you address and name and everything. So, okay, I am consciousness, I am soul. But then, what else about soul? No? What else? What is the address of soul? From where it belongs, from where it comes. Now, how we landed here? These are big questions. Why I am in this body? Why can't I leave this body? By my own will. You're trapped. You're trapped in this body. And that is a proper perspective to life. Proper perspective to life is not freedom. It is to see that we are bonded. We are not free. But propaganda is something else, no? Liberty, you're free, you can do everything. No, you're bonded in this body. You're bonded in this mind, intelligence. You cannot leave this body as you wish. You will be forced to suffer what this body experiences, and you're trapped. So, and suppose next life you go in an animal body, then you can't even speak. You're forced to do what that body will do. So, what is the identity of soul? Krishna explains in 2nd chapter. Further, he says, soul is part and parcel of super soul, God, just like sun and sunlight. And this is also very easy to understand. In this body there is soul and there is super soul, and that also is easy to understand. Arjuna asks Krishna, how can I understand that? Krishna speaks in 15th chapter. Krishna says, 𝗙𝗶𝗹𝗶𝗃 सन्निविष्टो मत्तः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानम् अपोहनं च. Simple logic, 15th chapter, 15th verse. He says, Arjuna, it is simple to understand that there is soul. Soul, okay, I have told you logically. But there is another power, super soul, Paramatma, which you call. How do you understand that? Okay, Krishna says, Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. I give everybody memory, I give forgetfulness, and I give knowledge. So, this proves that there is super soul. How? Who makes you sleep? You? No. You lie down and you fall asleep. Is it? It's like that, no? Who wakes you up? You? You cannot wake yourself up. You slept, you slept. There is some power who is doing that. You can say brain. Scientists would like to say brain. But sleep is the most misunderstood phenomena. Not misunderstood, but not understood phenomena in science. It's a big mystery. About sleep, we just know delta wave, theta waves, beta waves. That's pretty much we know. Or maybe dreams we know. Even in deep sleep, brain is active. We can see some patterns. That's all. Nothing more than sleep. Why do we sleep? That's also a big question in science. Why do we need sleep? That is a big question in science. Because according to evolution, you should not be sleeping. You know what? According to evolution, sleep should not be there. You know evolution, everybody knows. If you believe in evolution, we don't believe, but if you believe, you should not be sleeping, because evolution is to do about survival, no? Is it? All traits which are not favorable for survival, they'll be deleted. Okay? Is it clear? So when you're sleeping, you forget yourself for how many hours? 7-8 hours, you're gone. And you're susceptible to be killed. Is it? So, you should not be sleeping. So better, evolution would have made you active all day, full of energy, and then you're not susceptible to be killed, and that's okay. But nevertheless you sleep. And who makes you sleep? Super soul. Who wakes you up? Super soul. It is God in your heart which is waking you up. And that is why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I give the evidence of my presence every day. But fools cannot see that. Every day Krishna wakes you up and he gives an evidence. There is some power beyond you who is helping you, who is controlling you. We are not controlling our heart, no? Nobody is controlling your heart, no? But in sleep also it will keep on beating, is it? So how does it beat? You say SA node, AV node, but that's just a name. Involuntary muscles, whatever you can, this is all bogus things. But why it keeps on beating? From where those pulses are coming? 24 hours. That's super soul. Krishna says, I am there in the heart, region of heart. And I keep on making heart go on, even without your knowledge. Do you know your heart is beating now? You know, Of course you know, because you are dead. But nevertheless you don't know because you're not conscious, no, it's going on. So there are many things going on in our body, it's out of our control. Somebody should be controlling that, no? So who is that? That is Super Soul. Simple. So in this body is compared to a tree, and there are two birds in this tree. This is example in Upanishads. 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗲 𝗪𝗂𝗪𝗔 samanam vriksham. In one tree there are two birds. One bird is enjoying the fruits. Another bird is simply waiting for that bird to look towards him and hoping that he makes friend with him. So what is that tree? Body. What is that bird? One bird, we, interested in fruits of this tree, this bird. And what is another bird? Super Soul, who is simply waiting. When that bird will turn his face towards me, try to understand me, he is ready to have relationship with you. But we are not. We have no knowledge. These things are happening. So this is second chapter. You can imagine. And how many chapters are there? 18. You can imagine what is there in Bhagavad Gita. I've just give you a preamble. There's so many things. This is first question. Over. We are soul. We are connected to Super Soul. We are different from this body. We have no connection with this body. We are in fact trapped in this body. We should not be in this body, but we are trapped. Why we are there, that's another question. We'll talk about it later. But we are here now. So what to do? How to realize ourselves. How to realize you're not this body. And realization and knowledge is very, very different. And Arjuna asks question to Krishna. Krishna, what is a symptom of a self-realized person? And what is a symptom of a person who simply theoretically knows? So now you know theoretically, logically, but realization is something else. No, realization is suppose now you are wearing a dress. Okay, so in night you take off your dress and put another dress. Is it? Okay. So in night, are you afraid to take out your dress? No, is anybody afraid? My God, 24 hours it has been with me. How do I take it out? No, throw it. Take another thing. Because you know you are not this dress. Even though it's with you 24 hours. Similarly, self-realized person knows he is not this body. That's why he doesn't fear death. He knows death. Keep this body, take another, no problems. Or maybe no body. You go back to God. So first symptom of self-realized person is he is absolutely fearless. He'll become fearless. No power on this earth can make him fearful. Even death. So what do you talk about? Financial losses. What do you talk about? Diseases. No problem. And Arjuna asks, how does that, third chapter Arjuna asks, how does that self-realized person walk, talk, speak, think? I told you, spirituality is training. It's training. So, what does it do? So Krishna says, how does he talk? Krishna says, a person who has realized his soul, he'll be talking matters related to soul and not matters relating to body. Because you're not this body. That's all. So by his talks, you can understand. You can't see that he has realized soul, no? You can't even see, you can't even show yourself. How do you show your realization? That's impossible. So how does he talk? He always talks about subject of spiritual matters, about God, about Super Soul, with whom he has connection. How does he walk? Walk doesn't mean in which style. Walk means how does he act in society? Walk in society, walk through life. How does he do that? Krishna says he walks in life in a disinterested way. He does his duty with no interest and no attachment. His interest is just to the point where, okay, fine, I have to do this, which is required, needful, that's all. This is not the goal of life. He doesn't waste his time. He's always investing in time in reading Bhagavad Gita, understanding spiritual matters, praising God. That's how he spent his time. And he doesn't hate others, he doesn't envy others, he doesn't find faults, he's not talking about others, stupid things, chatting around, and he's not using WhatsApp, self-realized person. He doesn't use Facebook. Those are signs and symptoms of a self-realized person. WhatsApp is waste of time, no? It's trash. It's trash. If you want to become dustbin, use WhatsApp. If you want to make your life trash, use WhatsApp. That's all. So if you want to understand Gita, at least stop this. It's a super waste of time, no? Not only waste of time, but stupid thoughts. You're thinking those things which are unnecessary to your life. Adds no value. Does it add any value? All this information, this happened, that happened, that happened. What does it happen? What do you have to do with all those things? What is entertainment? No, that's the point. That's what Krishna says. For self-realized person, chanting God's name, that is entertainment. Understanding Gita, that is entertainment. His entertainment changes. You find entertainment in WhatsApp because you think you are this body, and everything related to body will give me happiness. That's entertainment. But a person who knows his soul, for him entertainment is anything related to soul. It will change. So your behavior will change. So you can't say, I understand Gita, I am self-realized, I know soul and this, and then you are doing complete nonsense things. It's cheating. It's cheating actually. You're cheating yourself. But another point is, in one day this is not going to happen. It can't happen in one day. It's a gradual process of training and sincerity, reading. It takes time. It takes time. But no problem. If you keep on practicing, it will happen. So that is self-realized person. Okay. So we talk about soul. One question is over. Who are you? Your soul. What's happening? Your soul. You're not this body. Soul is part and parcel of super soul, like sun and sunlight. And the symptoms, when you realize that your soul, your actions will change, your thoughts will change, your behavior will change. It will be different. You can know instantly whether he's on platform of soul or platform of body. You can't cheat yourself. And then who is God? That's another question. Now who is soul? Krishna answers in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. First 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is dealing with who are you and how you should behave in this society. This is first 6 chapters. So Karmanya Vadika Raste is in first 6 chapters. So do your duty, don't be attached to results. Okay, good advice. Do your duty in this material world, earn money, no problems, but don't be attached to money. Don't make money as a goal. Don't be thinking about money, don't be thinking about future and saving. You can save, but don't become mad about that. Don't spend your entire time in that. That's a waste of life. So it's a good first 6 chapters. Second 6 chapters, 6 to 12, talks about who is God. Next question, who is God? And who is God, by the way? Anybody knows? Are you God, all of you? Maybe. You have God in your heart? Your super soul is God? Yeah. But who is He? What is the full address?
Who has created everything.
Okay, good. Definition of God is Janmadyasyata Anyavaryatartascha Bhikeswarat. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. 10th chapter, 8th verse. I am the origin of everything. So Krishna is God. Now here is a shocking news for all of you as a Hindu or Indians. That Lord Shiva, Ganesh, Brahmaji, they are all demigods. They are not God. Now you have to understand that. Because generally people say Hinduism is polytheism. No, many gods, is it? Yeah, no, people say many gods, polytheistic philosophy. Christians come to India and they Christianize, Christian conversion. Yeah, one God, you have so many gods, what you are doing. But there's just one God. If you read Gita, if you read all Vedic scriptures, there is one God, Krishna, or Vishnu, or Ram. They are just one person in different roles. Vishnu, Krishna, Ram, one person in different roles. Shiva, he is a demigod. Or angel, you know angel, you can say angel. You can say farishta, or Islamic word. Like that. Lord Shiva is a greatest devotee of Lord Vishnu. People who are from South India, Vishnu Sahasranam. Rama Rama Rameti Mano Rama Ramo Rame. Shiva says to Parvati, I always chant the names of Ram. And in fact, Lord Shiva has a beads. You see? He's chanting. Krishna doesn't have beads. You've seen photograph of Krishna with beads? Vishnu with beads? He's enjoying. So, Shiva is meditating on somebody. And that is Vishnu, or a expansion of Vishnu by the name Sankarshan. That's Sankarshan. That's why Shiva keeps snakes. He keeps snakes. Why? Because Vishnu lies on the bed. Anand Shesh, you know this, no? And Shiva is meditating on Anand Shesh. And as a symbol to remember him, he puts snakes. He is not a fool that he keep on putting snakes, no. Why do you put snakes? To make himself remember about Anand Shesh. That's a symbol of that. So he is the greatest devotee. Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu. And by the way, but South Indians might ask about Rameshwaram. Why Rama installed Lord Shiva. You know about that? Oh, that's another point. I can take in questions, but okay, so Lord Shiva is demigod. Ganesh is definitely a son of Lord Shiva. He is not God if Shiva is not God. Parvati is wife of Lord Shiva. She is not God if Shiva is not God. Brahma is from the navel of Vishnu. He is not God. Adi antecha madhyeja sarvatra hariyate. Vishnu is supreme. This you have to understand. Rig Veda says, Om tad Vishnu paramam padam yada pashyanti surya. Anybody who doesn't consider Vishnu as supreme, who considers so many gods, anybody who thinks there are many gods, he is to be casted into hell. He is having wrong conception. You can't equate God with anybody. Na tat samas avidekascha vidyate. So that's pretty clear in Gita. If you read all Vedas, if you read some, then you will be like having no idea. We have heard our society, we are confused. So at least that point you have to be clear of God. So Krishna says over and over again in Bhagavad Gita, Matta parataram nanyat kinchedasti dhananjaya. There is no truth superior to me, Arjuna. You read? He says, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, 5th chapter, 29th verse. I am the supreme Lord of everything you see and do not see. He says, Avajananti mam muda. Only fools do not know me, my supremacy over all others. In 10th chapter, 2nd verse, he says, Name vidu suragana prabhantinam harshaya. Even demigods do not know, do not understand my power, my supremacy. So God is one. Supreme means one, no? So how can supreme be two? This doesn't make any sense. Many gods is absurd philosophy. It is not supported by scriptures. It is a concoction. And what's his name? His name is Krishna. Why his name is Krishna? Because God has many names. It's not just one name. You can call him Allah also. What is the meaning of Allah? Anybody knows?
All mercy.
No. All great. All great. So you can call as all great. So name of gods is decided by his qualities. You understand? Our name is not like that. Tom, Dick, Harry, 𝗙𝗍𝗶𝗶𝗄, Chintu, Mintu. No meaning. But you can't. Names of God are not like that. So it is decided by his qualities. So okay, he is all great. So one of the name is Allah. So he is Father of all beings. So okay, Christians might call him Almighty Father. Or he pleases everybody. So one of the name is Govinda, who pleases cows and people. Or he is everywhere. So one of the name is Vasudev, or Vishnu, who is everywhere. But his original name is Krishna. Why? Because Krishna means all attractive. Akarshan. Akarshan. So he is all attractive. Anybody who is all great, who is having all power, all knowledge, all merciful, he is attractive. No? He's got to be attractive, no? So that is why all names are contained in this one name, Krishna. And Krishna says in Gita, that is why there is none equal or superior to me. So that has to be clear. If that is not clear, there is no meaning of religion, there is no meaning of spirituality, there is no meaning of everything. You have to be clear in God. Whatever you do, even if you do pious activities, Krishna says in these chapters, even if we do good deeds and we don't understand who is God, then those good has no value. It becomes bad. Because you don't know what you are doing. No? You don't know what you are doing, for whom you are doing, and we think we are connected to God, but who is that? What? So you don't go up, you go down. 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗔 tamasa. Krishna says in Gita, those who do not know me, they'll go down in lower species. Even though they are the best person on this earth, even though they are gentlemen, even though they don't harm anybody, even though they help everybody, but if they don't recognize His supremacy, no fruits of any action. So that's middle 6 chapters. Who is God? God is, at least according to scriptures, God is Krishna. And who is Ram? Same person. You should not be confused. Same person. Krishna, Ram, Vishnu, same person. Who is Shiva? Demigod. Demigod means living entity like us, but also not like us. He is much far superior than us. You can't compare yourself with Shiva. That's impossible. So that's Shiva, Durga, Ganesh, and people nowadays. People in India, there's a problem now. People in India, many saints, they say everybody is God. You are God. I am God. It's like that, no? People like to say that. But that's absolutely absurd. How can you be God? When I heard this, when I was a student, I was hearing a lecture from some saint. He was saying, everybody is God. Everybody is Parabrahm. So at that point I became atheist. I told this is complete nonsense. We can't be God. We can't even control our bodies. God is supreme controller. He's supposed to know everything, no? We don't know anything. So, some people like to say you were God, but you have forgotten you are God. That's another philosophy. Because you're an illusion, so you've forgotten your God. When you do Om, then suddenly you will realize you're God. But that's another absurd thing, because if you are God, then how you have forgotten things in the first place, no? If you were God and you have forgotten everything, why did you forget? Is it? Then it means you're not all perfect. You're prone to forgetfulness. That's not God. So these are wrong philosophies. Krishna also refutes these philosophies in this Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is not just asserting truth, it is also refutation of wrong philosophies. And that is why this book will help you. It's a manual of life. It will help you to see through this word, spirituality, things what are right, what is wrong. It will help you to discriminate between milk and water. It's a very good book. So this is God. And the last question, how do I develop connection with Him? That question is answered from 13th chapter to 18th chapter. And what's the answer to that? It's very simple. How do you establish connection? Krishna says, if you want to establish connection, do 2 things. Just 2 things. First thing is, try to understand this book. Krishna says, try to understand my instructions. Jnana vijnana sahitam. Ignorance is not the seed of knowledge. Darkness cannot have light. So if you have no knowledge, you are ignorant. There is darkness. There cannot be light. God is light, or effulgent, supreme knowledge. You cannot have it. So He is Krishna. and He's like sun, and if you have darkness, so He will come in your heart. He's already there in your heart, first of all, as Super Soul. But we don't see Him because of ignorance. So we have to read this book daily. Please read this book daily. Take out time. At least once in your life, read this. I have just told you about spirituality in this book. If I present other seminars also, on YouTube they have seminars. So every verse of Bhagavad Gita has 1,000 meanings, by the way. I've just told you one. And if you read Gita properly, Gita has science, mathematics, chemistry, the number pi, and psychology, biology, and I have presented a seminar on that, how the principles of all sciences are there in Gita. Medicine, health. I'm writing a book. I had to bring a book in America. I should have finished, but I couldn't finish, about health, perfect health, and based on principles of Gita. Just one verse of Gita. Just one verse of Gita can make you perfectly healthy. No disease, no sufferings. This is the beauty of this book. That's why I told you this manual of life. So read this daily, and when you should read, get up in the morning, first thing, do this. It's not necessary to take bath. Don't be in that illusion of taking bath. Then you'll never read. You'll take bath and then something, then something, then something. Time is gone. In household life it's like that, no? Things are. So get up in the morning, maybe wash your eyes, maybe brush, sit and read one verse and one meaning, purport of this book. That's all, finished. That's all. That much you have to do. And slowly, every drop makes an ocean, no? Slowly things will go inside you. It will take time, but slowly it will keep on going without you knowing. So, and keep this book in your drawing room or dining table, not in your puja room. You'll never read it. Not in your library. Who goes to library? Library is for show, you know. It's just for show off. Keep it on a dining table or somewhere where it is. While eating you can see, you know, no problem. Ideally you should not, while eating you should not, but no problem. At least read it. Read it once. Like a novel, read it like a novel. No problem. No, not necessary to understand first. Just read it. Slowly you will keep on understanding. Every subject is like that, no? It takes time. So when I joined Krishna Consciousness, somebody told me read Gita. I didn't understand anything about Gita. I read it 10 times. I didn't understand anything. But I thought, well, if you keep on reading, words of God is God Himself. So when you read Gita, you might not understand, but you have blessings. This is a different thing. You have blessings that, okay, He's reading my knowledge. And slowly by blessings of Krishna, you will start understanding it yourself. So read this book. And the second thing Krishna says in the last word, in the last chapters is, Manmana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. This is second advice. Always think of Him. If you want to connect with Him, always think of Him. Simple. If you want to connect with somebody, you have to think of Him. Simple. If you want to connect with television, think of television. If you want to connect with Tom, think of Tom. You become connected, that's all. If you fall in love with that person, the more you think, so think, but you'll not be able to think. You'll see. It's difficult. You'll forget. The moment this lecture is over, you'll forget everything. I'm pretty sure. And the moment you enter your house, you will even forget, did he speak on Gita or what did he speak? You'll forget everything. We are so absorbed in ourselves, in this life. It's difficult to retain this knowledge. It's difficult, you'll forget. So Krishna says there's a practical way to remember God. Take His names. Chant His names. So you don't have control on your mind, but you have control on your tongue. Is it? So that is why there was a system of chanting. On beads. We chant on beads. So we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is a mantra mentioned in Rig Veda Upanishads, if you keep on chanting this, at least you vibrate your tongue, you hear the name, in between you can remember, It'll force you to remember. Sometimes maybe not, sometimes your mind is out, sometimes you can. So while bathing, while cooking, while walking, you can keep on repeating this in your mind. You see, previously people used to chant Ram, Ram, old people. So we used to think, what, they are complete nonsense, wasting time. But it's not like that. It makes sense. Mind is now our enemy. It's not our friend. It will not allow you to think of God. It will stop you. And you can see mind is your enemy. You start chanting. You know Mala? You start chanting and just in 5 seconds you'll fall asleep. 100%, all of you. If I give you a Mala and after 30 seconds, most of you will be like out.
Super soul will make you sleep.
Yeah. Super soul will make you sleep.
That's God.
Because we don't like him now.
No, we do.
We don't. If we like him, we cannot like anything else. That's the point. You might, but not to 100%. 1%, good. That's why you are all here. Otherwise, why would you hear about him? We don't like him. If I see the most beautiful person, nothing will remain beautiful for you. How it will remain beautiful? No. If you see Aishwarya Rai, you like any other girl? Oh, come on. Anyway, she's not beautiful. I don't like her. So that's one thing. She is not beautiful. I don't know how she became Miss Universe, but she's not inside. She's not that beautiful. But she's in Miss Universe anyway. So Miss World? Miss Universe? No? Miss World? Okay. Yeah. That's probably a political game or something. She became something like that. I don't know. But the point is, if you see a superior beauty, you will not appreciate inferior beauty. It's not possible. Just like okay, fine. Do you eat lollipops now? Anybody? You eat?
I do.
That's not. Okay. Do you play with toys? Do you play with Barbie doll?
No.
Okay. That's good. Otherwise.
She has 3 daughters who look like Barbie dolls.
Yeah. So okay, fine. So none of you will play with Barbie dolls or train or something, no? Why? Because you've got a higher taste. You got a higher taste. Now you play with money. You play with people. You manipulate people, not dolls. We like that. We like that in our heart. And maybe other things, gadgets. You got a higher taste, no? Then you lose lower taste, no? Or if you eat sweets and then you eat something sweet, it's no longer sweet. You get some taste and that pales off. Similarly, if you really like God, any attraction of this world cannot attract you. It's impossible. And if you're getting attracted towards this word, the charms and the things, then this means to that extent we don't like him. We actually not like him. If you look in your heart, you will find there is a lacuna which has to be filled by God, but it's now filled with wrong things. So that's how you just do 2 things and it's over. Chanting his names daily, on beats or not on beats, whatever. While taking bath or whatever, remember chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Keep on chanting and read this book daily. And if possible, associate with devotees. Go in association of devotees. Then you get knowledge, you get enthusiasm, inspiration. I'll tell you, but after some time, you will lose taste. And so who's going to read? So do that and perfect your life. And what will happen? What is the result of being connected with God? What is the result? And this book is over. What is the result?
You're truly happy.
Okay. Result is love. You get love of God. That is the aim of life. Aim of life is to love him and be loved by him. Both ways. That is the aim of life. And when you love God, then you automatically become happy. You become happy because He is source of happiness. And when you love Him, He is so happy. He is happy within Himself. He is infinite happiness. When you love Him, when you make connection with Him, you're always happy. Just like if you have a friend who is comedian, who is entertainer, if you make friends with him, you will never get bored. You keep on joking and doing something, no? Is it that's why we make friends? So Krishna says, make me your friend. You'll never get bored with me. It's impossible. You can get bored with your mortals, let me say, not with me. I'll give you surprises. Not externally, internally, in your soul. Every day will be new. Every second will be a festival. Every moment will be a song. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, those people who do not know me, who do not love me, they cannot even imagine in their wildest of dreams what is happiness. What happiness they think is actually sorrow. They are in sorrows, they are not in happiness. That's just sensual excitement. Nothing. They are wasting their life. So Krishna is inviting us. This book is an invitation. An open invitation. Krishna is calling you. Come to me. Come to me. I'm waiting for you. I'm ready to love you. You love me. So please read this. Chant, associate with devotees, perfect your life. And don't come back to America. You leave this body, go back to God. Don't come back again. That's the idea. This word is not good as we think it to be. Hare Krishna.